This is the Transforming Anxiety podcast with mindfulness teacher Kelly Hanlon McCormick. And today is episode number 251, Back to Transforming Anxiety. Hello. My intention for today is that we have a chance to return, that we get honest, and that we reconnect. Welcome in. It's the Transforming Anxiety podcast, episode number 251, Back to Transforming Anxiety. I've missed you. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. So it's been a little while. I've missed you. I've been thinking of you. And I so appreciated all of the notes and the sweet questions and the comments about missing the show and missing me. Ditto. And thank you for reaching out, for inquiring, for caring like that. It really means a lot to me. To be honest, a few things have been going on over here, and I wanted to take this time and take this conversation to talk about some of that, at least a little bit. For me, it's a pretty conscious thing that this show is about you and that it's about us and that it is specifically not about me. And also, I hear from you, and some of you are students, so I get to work with you more directly, and you tell me this often. I hear that you would like to know more about me, my experience, my what's happening with me, what is going on in real time. So yes, I hear you on that. And I'm going to work to bring more me into the show, just to share my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings, kind of to share some of my own work and my own stuff with you. I recognize I like to hear that from my teachers too. I like to feel like I know the people I learn from, and I like to hear how they are personally using and living the things that they're teaching, like how they came to be in the world, right? With their work, doing this work in the first place. So I want to be honest with you, which, quick sidebar, is one of the most important things we can do to transform anxiety. Honesty, openness, being who we are. It's not telling everyone everything all the time, right? It is about owning who we are and being willing to be who we are in the appropriate and relevant ways so that we can stay and be and live in a genuinely connected way with each other. There's a realness to the relationship, to the conversation, to the connection when we are honest about what's what, right? When we're open, when we're real, and when we can feel free. So, more of that. Not because I wasn't being honest with you before, but because I know I can include myself in this conversation a bit more, perhaps. And by extension, bring a new dimension of honesty to this connection with you. So, yes, a few things have been going on over here. Some of it I'm not ready to talk about yet. It's too new. It's too much. It's too big still in this moment. The past year for me has just been an enormous burning it all down. A very real ask of that whole, can you deal with the consequences of being yourself? 'Cause no. Well, yes and no, right? That's what I can say about that. Yes and no. But what I can tell you from here, from this moment is, well, first of all, I will have a lot to bring you in the coming months and years. I'm okay. I can tell you that. I promise I'm 100% okay. And, well, Maggie Smith, she wrote this in her memoir, which is called You Could Make This Place Beautiful. She's a poet, and she wrote a memoir, so you can imagine what it's like. She said this. She said, "Let everything happen to you. beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. So yes, let everything happen. Beauty and terror, because this is life. No? Beauty and terror. But we keep going. Also, yes. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going back to transforming anxiety. I want to say too that I think we need to let it be okay. All of us need to let it be okay for ourselves, to ourselves. We need to make it okay that if and when we want or need to take a break, if we want or need to bow out or back off or go quiet, let's let that be okay for ourselves. Let's let ourselves off the hook that it's not okay. And then as an extension, we'll make it okay for each other. Like, I didn't really mean to take a break, to be honest with you. I didn't mean to not be here for a few weeks. And I know that you are here because you get something out of this podcast, because it means something to you, because you and I have a relationship, and that means showing up. And I want you to know that I don't take that lightly. I don't take it for granted that you're here with me, that you listen in, that this work means something to you. It means the world to me too. That's why I do it. That's why I show up. That's why I love on you and bring you these conversations from my heart and my research and my curiosity and a deep love for all of us who feel and struggle and work with and around and inside of anxiety. I get it. I walk this path right alongside you. I'd like to think that you're able to work and parent and play and move through your life, and that you rely on me to do a whole bunch of reading and research and just have a whole bunch of conversations with people who aren't that different from you. I'd like to think that you depend on me to do that and then report back to you from the field. And that these talks are a distillation of what I have found, what I have read, what I've heard and studied, and what I've experienced myself. So that you don't necessarily have to take the time to do all that stuff. I like to pretend in some ways that you've outsourced it to me and that I'm a place you can come. This podcast feed is a place that you can touch in each week, and you can learn and you can feel and you can work, and you can be reminded that you are not alone. That in fact, you are in solid company. And I'm not talking about me, although yes, I'm definitely here with you. I'm talking about all of the incredible people that I get to talk to, all of the amazing people that I work with, all of the email and text and Google Doc conversations that I'm having with just absolutely incredible humans, people you'd be thrilled to know and to be doing this work with. Seriously, I have the most honored position being in this seat and getting to hear from you and talk to you and work with you. We have an incredible community here, and I am so grateful for that. So, I'm sorry that I wasn't here. I'm sorry that I didn't show up the past few weeks. And at the same time that I am sorry about that, I needed some time and I took it. So there are a few things that I've struggled with as a person, as a business owner, like weird things that I struggle with, arguably dumb things. Honestly, I get these big ideas. I get good ideas even, I think. And then I get in my own way. This is something I have done for a long time. I make myself small. I talk myself out of it. I don't let myself want things. I shrink away from things that can feel right or amazing. You know, sometimes you get that cosmic click in your gut when you're onto something, like when you feel like you know something you can't really know yet. I get that yes, that internal exhale of you're on the right path. And then then I have a way of just wrecking myself. Not outright sabotage, because no, I'm not obvious like that. I am much quieter. I am much stealthier about it. I am sneaky with myself. I'm like this. I just go to work to stay on this side of the finish line. Like, not quite letting myself go all in or fully immerse myself or just really go for it. This is something I've done for a long time. I can remember doing this in gymnastics when I was 8 years old. I can remember doing this in high school with different clubs or activities that I thought would be interesting. I have done this in conversations with friends when I didn't fully understand something, or if I didn't know what they were talking about. Like, I would just go along with things and not push or ask or say, wait, call me dumb, but I want to hear more because I have no clue what you're talking about. I opened a yoga studio. This was years ago, and I played way small. Like, I didn't lose any money there, but I tell you what, I didn't see what was truly possible with that space or with that idea or with that dream. It's like I just quietly hoped in a corner of my mind and thought it would maybe come together. Maybe. And then I very quietly got in the way of myself because I played small. And it sort of worked. Sort of, kind of, but not fully. Not to the extent that it could have. So I tell you that being an entrepreneur will show you all of your shortcomings. And it does. It will, continuously. And this is a biggie for me. Playing small. Just not fully living into the ideas and the hopes and the teachings. The life that I have, that I see, that I envision. So I'm naming that here with you. I know a lot of you do this too. I know I didn't invent this dance. I'm not original or unique in this way at all. And the stupidest things will set me down this path. The smallest things will knock me off center. And I tell you what, when I am in it, like I have been this past year, when I'm in it, I absolutely cannot get back up. There are past versions of me that were able to shrug things off, mistakes or criticism or rejection or judgment or misunderstandings. Like, I could pop back up and learn and move on. And I tell you what, not right now. Not sometimes. But you don't have to be an entrepreneur to do this, because this is also true of parenting, of friendships, of marriage, of family, of change, of habits, of pain and joy and anxiety and sadness and excitement and lethargy and vitality. Like, of just moving about the world, right? All your shortcomings, all your sensitive trigger spots, all those raw and just vulnerable, tender points. If we're paying attention, if we're awake and aware and have some degree of humility and curiosity, there they are. And we don't have to do a thing about it. We can rail against it. We can avoid it. We can try to escape in some way. I did. I've done a whole bunch of stuff to try and route around this reality. I used to drink. I've been known to pour myself into things that saturate my attention just enough to prove distracting. Like deep cleaning, spreadsheeting, going for long walks. Sometimes I pack my schedule full of social activities or stuff for the kids. I took up chess. I can read for hours and hours. You know, most of that stuff looks pretty noble and healthy even. But it depends how I'm using it. They can be distractions and avoidances all the same. And none of it gets to the work. Not the real work. Not the work of feeling, the work of knowing who we are, and the counterintuitive non-work of just simply being. So, like I said, we don't have to do a thing about those tender points, those vulnerabilities, those shortcomings. We can just plow forward, right? We can feel that sting and just put our heads down and keep on keeping on. But here's what I'm finding. Here's the work I'm doing. Again, like again and again and again. It's like we could just stop pretending. We could drop the facade and just be honest. We could say, ouch, or this is hard, or I'm struggling. And from there, we can get closer to who we are, closer to what we want and need. So sometimes we take breaks. Even we don't know we're taking breaks. Sometimes we say, right now, it's like this. It's not pretty. It's not good. Not because I'm trying to be dramatic, not because I'm trying to create some self-fulfilling prophecy, but just because it's simply not good. Sometimes we let go of all of it. We sit in the dark. We let the emotions wash over again and again, and they just keep crashing over us. I mean, you probably get the idea. Things have been tough around here. You've been through tough things. You know what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm okay. I'm not good yet, but I'm okay. And that's good, right? Good enough anyway. Now, there's more. Another reason I've been quiet on this feed the past few weeks, I also have been working on some stuff for you. Yes. While I've been sitting in the dark, I sometimes come up and out into the light and am able to integrate the thoughts and the feelings into something that I can share with you. So there's a fun little new intro and outro for the show, which matters and doesn't matter at all. Yeah. There's new music. That's kind of fun. It's still from the amazing DJ Soul Rising, who's so generous with his work this way, but it's a new song. It's called Sunshine and Starlight. So that's happening. And I have something new that I've been working on literally for years, which okay, scratch that. That part isn't important. I actually hate it when I hear how long someone's been working on something because, listen, I don't care if it took you 30 minutes or 7 years. If it's valuable, if it works, if I want it and need it, great. And if it's not any of those things, I'm moving on, right? I don't care how long somebody's been working on something. So the point isn't that I've been working hard. The point is that while I took an unplanned break, I did work. I was still with you. I was just working on something else. And I'm telling you, it's finally almost ready. It's a whole new kind of thing, something I have never done or offered before. It's a whole new way of working more closely with you. But mostly, it is a whole new way of getting help and support to people who are ready and wanting to transform anxiety. I've been thinking about this for a while now. How can we get from anxious to okay in the fastest and most sustainable way? Because this is what we want, right? If you think about things from a business perspective, from what are people actually wanting and willing to spend their time and their money on, we want a relatively quick fix, and we want something that's going to be long lasting. That was the challenge I put to myself anyway. Make it fast and make it something that will create real change over the long term. Because fast is no good if it's a flash in the pan, right? And long term is no good if it takes forever to get there. So finding that sweet spot was my goal. And I'm going to be looking for a group of people who are willing to test this out with me. Before I really launch this program, to the whole public out into the wild, I want to work with you. I'm going to be offering this new thing at a huge discount to my listeners, to my audience, those of you who are already here and who have been with me. And in exchange for that, I want to hear how it really works for you. What do you love about it? What do you resonate with? But where do you get confused or lost with it? What felt powerful and maybe what felt irrelevant? So basically with this new program, what works, what doesn't work, what do I need to do differently? And I want honest feedback on it so that I can make it even better. You'll get all the updates. You'll Once you're in forever. So I'm telling you all of this because I want to help you, and I want you to help me help you so that we all feel good and that we can all help more people. Yeah? So, all to say, more on that soon. Be sure you're on my email list at kellyhanlonmccormick.com, and be sure that you're subscribed to the podcast wherever you listen so that you don't miss anything, especially if you're interested in trying that program out. I'm going to have to cap it and work with just a small group of people so that we can really work together, because I want to take this to a small group and solidify it. I want to make it amazing. So it's going to have to be small, but I want you there with us. So stay tuned for more on that soon. And here we are. We're back together, back to transforming anxiety. I have a few ideas for some episodes over the next few weeks and months. I know this was kind of a weird episode, just kind of a hodgepodge of what's up with me, maybe what struggling can look like. I know a lot of us struggle in the ways of playing small. That's a really particular and specific, but also pretty commonplace and universal way of struggling, is that sneaky self-sabotage and shrinking back and playing small in our lives. This was also included how I believe we all need to allow for breaks, planned or not, and just a little bit about where I want to go, at least in part this year, with transforming anxiety and this community, and how I want to help and serve more people. So thank you for being here. Thank you for still being here. I will be back next week, I promise, with more transforming anxiety. And until then, please take care. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for doing this work alongside me. Thank you for sharing this with your friends and your family, anyone who, could use the support and the guidance, who could use these teachings and practices. Thank you for sharing your stories with me, telling me about your experiences and asking your questions. I'm here with you. Let's do this together. Transforming anxiety.